What is it about a good mystery that just gets under our skin? Is it the thrill of the chase, the idea that we, right here, right now, could be the ones to crack a case that has baffled experts for centuries? Or is it something a little deeper, a little darker? A reminder that no matter how much we think we know about our world, there are still pockets of shadow, corners of history where the truth remains stubbornly, frustratingly, out of reach. These stories stick with us. They haunt our late-night thoughts, and they challenge everything we think we know about logic and reason. Today, we're diving headfirst into that darkness. We're not just looking at any old cold cases, we're tackling 5 of the greatest, most enduring unsolved mysteries from the past. These are the legends, the stories that have been passed down through generations, each telling adding another layer of intrigue and speculation. From lost civilizations swallowed by the sea to cryptic messages left behind by vanished colonists, these are the puzzles that history itself has yet to solve. And frankly, that's what makes them so terrifyingly fascinating. So buckle up, get your detective hats on, maybe grab a notepad because we're about to venture into some seriously mysterious territory. As we go through each case, I want to hear from you. What are your gut feelings, your wild theories, your aha moments? Drop them in the comments below, because when you're staring into the abyss of the unknown, it's always better to have some company. Let's get into it. Our first mystery takes us deep beneath the waves, to a place that has captivated the human imagination for over 2,000 years, the lost city of Atlantis. First mentioned by the Greek philosopher Plato, Atlantis was described as a utopian civilization, a maritime power of immense wealth and advanced knowledge, located beyond the Pillars of Hercules. It was a paradise of concentric rings of land and water, home to a noble and powerful race. But their hubris, their pride, allegedly angered the gods. In a single violent day and night of misfortune, the island of Atlantis disappeared into the depths of the sea. But here's the big question, the one that keeps archaeologists and historians up at night. Did Atlantis ever actually exist? Was Plato recording a genuine historical event, a memory of a real place lost to a cataclysmic event? Or was it all just a story, a philosophical fable he cooked up to make a point about the ideal state and the dangers of imperial ambition? The evidence, or lack thereof, is maddening. For centuries, explorers have scoured the globe, from the Mediterranean to the Caribbean, looking for any trace of this sunken kingdom, but have come up empty-handed. The theories are just as vast and deep as the ocean itself. Some believe the story is a distorted memory of the massive volcanic eruption on the island of Thera, now Santorini, around 1600 BC, which wiped out the Minoan civilization. Others point to strange underwater rock formations like the Bimini Road in the Bahamas, claiming they are remnants of Atlantean structures. And then, of course, you have the more out-there theories involving ancient aliens and high-tech energy crystals. Whatever the truth is, the legend of Atlantis persists, a ghostly reminder of a paradise lost, forever submerged in the murky waters of history and myth. From a city lost to the sea, we now travel to a settlement that vanished from the face of the earth. In 1587, a group of over 100 English settlers, led by Governor John White, established a colony on Roanoke Island, off the coast of modern-day North Carolina. It was a hopeful new beginning in the New World. Soon after their arrival, White's granddaughter, Virginia Dare, was born, the first English child in the Americas. But with supplies running dangerously low, White was forced to make the treacherous journey back to England to gather reinforcements, leaving his family and the entire colony behind. He expected to be gone for a year, maybe less. But due to a naval war between England and Spain, his return was delayed by 3 long, agonizing years. When he finally made it back to Roanoke in 1590, he found nothing. The entire settlement was gone. The houses and fortifications had been dismantled, not violently but carefully, as if the colonists had packed up and moved. There were no signs of a struggle, no bodies, no graves. It was as if over 100 men, women and children had simply evaporated into the thin coastal air. The only clue left behind was a single cryptic word carved into a wooden post, Croatoan. Another carving, CRO, was found on a nearby tree. Croatoan was the name of a nearby island, now Hatteras Island, and also the name of a local Native American tribe. White took this as a sign that the colonists had peacefully relocated, but he was unable to investigate due to an approaching storm. He sailed away, never to return, and the fate of the lost colony of Roanoke became one of America's oldest and most chilling unsolved mysteries. Did they integrate with a local tribe? Did they attempt to sail home and get lost at sea? Or did something far more sinister happen on that isolated island? Next up, we have a mystery that isn't about a place or a person, but an object. An object so baffling, it has been called the world's most mysterious book, the Voynich manuscript. This small, unassuming codex, carbon dated to the early 15th century, is filled with about 240 pages of text and illustrations. But here's the catch: no one on Earth can read it. The entire book is written in an unknown language or code, a script that appears nowhere else in the world. The world's best cryptographers, from World War II codebreakers to modern AI algorithms, have thrown themselves at this book and have all failed to decipher a single word. The illustrations are just as bizarre and unhelpful as the text. The manuscript is divided into sections, each with its own strange theme. There's a section filled with drawings of fantastical, unidentifiable plants that don't match any known species. Another section features astronomical and astrological diagrams with zodiac signs and suns and moons that have weirdly human-like faces. Perhaps the most famous section is the balneological or biological part, which shows dozens of small, naked women bathing in pools and tubs connected by an intricate network of pipes, some of which look disturbingly like anatomical organs. So, what is this thing? Is it a lost alchemical text, a secret pharmacopoeia detailing forgotten herbal remedies? Is it the work of a madman, a genius, or a very, very elaborate and centuries-old hoax designed to fool a wealthy collector? Some theories suggest it's an enciphered version of a known language, while others propose it's a completely constructed artificial language. Each page you turn only deepens the mystery, presenting you with a puzzle box wrapped in an enigma, written in a language that may or may not even be real. The Voynich manuscript remains a silent, stubborn testament to the limits of human understanding. Prepare yourselves, because this next case is one of the most unsettling and deeply disturbing mysteries of the 20th century. In February 1959, a group of 9 experienced Soviet hikers, all students from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, set out on a challenging expedition into the northern Ural Mountains. They were skilled, they were prepared, and they never came back. When a search party was finally sent out, they discovered the hikers' tent on the slopes of a mountain ominously named Kolatsyakal, or Dead Mountain in the local Mansi language. And what they found inside and around that tent was the beginning of a terrifying puzzle. The tent had been cut open from the inside. The hikers' belongings, their shoes, their warm coats, their supplies were all left behind. The search party followed a set of footprints, some from bare feet leading away from the camp and down the slope toward a tree line. It was clear the 9 hikers had fled their tent in a state of sheer panic, abandoning their gear in sub-zero temperatures. Why? What could possibly have terrified these seasoned mountaineers so much that they would run, unprepared, into the deadly Siberian wilderness at night? The discoveries only got more horrifying. The first 2 bodies were found by a tree, lightly dressed and with hands burned, next to the remnants of a small fire. 3 more were found between the tree and the tent, seemingly having tried to return to camp. But the final 4 bodies, discovered 2 months later buried under the snow in a ravine, presented the most gruesome evidence. 1 had a fractured skull, 2 had major chest fractures, and 1 woman was missing her tongue. Yet, bizarrely, their bodies showed no external signs of trauma, as if they had been crushed by an immense invisible force. Soviet investigators officially concluded that the hikers died from a compelling natural force, a conclusion that explains absolutely nothing. Our final mystery takes us to the gaslit, fog-choked streets of Victorian London, to the autumn of 1888. This was the hunting ground of a killer who has become more legend than man, a phantom whose name is synonymous with terror, Jack the Ripper. For a brief, horrifying period, this unknown assailant stalked the impoverished Whitechapel district, preying on women in the dead of night. His crimes were not just murders, they were brutal, ritualistic butcheries that shocked the world and sent a wave of panic through one of the world's greatest cities. The Ripper is officially linked to 5 victims, known as the Canonical Five, though he may have been responsible for more. What set him apart was the sheer savagery of his methods. The victims' throats were slashed and their bodies were subjected to horrific abdominal mutilations. The killer displayed a degree of anatomical knowledge that suggested he might be a surgeon, a butcher, or someone with medical training. He taunted the police and the press with a series of chilling, mocking letters, some of which were signed with his infamous moniker, Jack the Ripper. He operated in the dark, struck with terrifying speed, and then vanished back into the London smog without a trace. Despite a massive manhunt and one of the largest police investigations of its time, the killer was never caught. The list of potential suspects is enormous, ranging from doctors and artists to immigrants and even members of the royal family. Was he Montague Druitt, a barrister who was found dead shortly after the last murder? Was he Aaron Kosminski, a Polish immigrant and hairdresser who was institutionalized? Or was he someone else entirely, a face in the crowd who lived out his days, taking his monstrous secret to the grave? The identity of Jack the Ripper remains the ultimate whodunit, a bloody question mark hanging over the history of crime. And there you have it, 5 stories, 5 gaping holes in our historical record. From the impossible architecture of Atlantis to the bloody signature of Jack the Ripper. These mysteries have a life of their own. They are the ghosts of our collective past, whispering questions that we still don't have the answers to. They remind us that for all our progress, for all our science and technology, there are some secrets the universe just isn't ready to give up. And maybe, just maybe, that's the way it's supposed to be. The not knowing is what keeps us searching. But that's just my take. Now I really want to hear from you. Which of these mysteries gets under your skin the most? Do you have a pet theory about the Dyatlov Pass incident? Do you think you know who the Ripper was? Let me know everything down in the comments. Let's turn that section into a massive brainstorming session. Seriously, there are no bad ideas when it comes to the unknown, so let's see what we can come up with together. The truth might be out there, or it might be right here in our collective speculation. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the unexplained. If you enjoyed diving into these historical enigmas, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, because believe me, we have only just scratched the surface. There are plenty more shadows to explore, and many more unsolved cases waiting in the dark. Until next time, stay curious and don't be afraid to question everything.